But did you invite anybody else? Like, how's this gonna go?
There might be some people popping in, but I mean, we can just hang out. Just probably talk about how things are going. But yeah, how's sales starting out for you this month?
This month I'm at 7K so far.
Nice. That's a good start. I feel like in the past it was like 7K halfway through the month, and now it's just like, well, stay 3.
Right?
Yeah.
But what's this? There's actually a question I have that I struggle with currently.
Yeah.
How do you handle the like the returns that you get from customers? Is most of it come back in sellable condition?
Most of it. Yeah.
Got you.
Does
And it
that How does that work for apparel? Because I feel like apparel's weird because it's like if it's socks, like it's packaged, you know.
right. Yeah, honestly I've never dealt with socks before,
Yeah.
but for like shoes, most of it is in sellable condition, and if Amazon says it's not and they send it back, it's still in sellable condition. Like maybe the laces are loosened up and stuff, but the bottom is like clean. And there's
Yeah.
only like a few times where they obviously scanned me. Like I got one shoe one time that was like completely ran through. Like the sole was like half off, and like they beat them to the ground and then returned them.
Oh geez.
But yeah, more on the accounting side of that. How does that process in inventory lab? Does that stuff in sellable condition sell again, but the cost is zero on inventory lab? Like how's that? What's the
Uh
margin on that?
Inventory lab will just like it'll refund the customer, so it'll end up being like the sale never happened, I think. And
Oh,
then
got
it
you.
just sells as far as I know.
Mm,
What I really want to know is what happens to like the unfillable condition stuff when you remove an order to yourself, because that I'm not sure on. I've been like saying, okay, that's a buy cost of $200 and I had to unfillable it back to myself. I've just been putting that as an expense at this point.
mm. For me, I think the stuff that gets returned to you, I felt like inventory lab just takes the loss from the refund, and it's like you completely took the loss. Like you get me?
Does it?
I think so. Like, okay, let's say you have something that's refunded to you and it doesn't go back into your inventory. How would inventory lab calculate that? It could be a complete loss, I'm pretty sure.
Are we talking about an unfillable or something that went into the inventory to be resold again?
Yeah, something that's unsellable, that's a removal order.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe something to ask inventory lab customer service or something.
Yeah, I mean, I might literally just like write a note to like ask them, you know?
Mm. Yeah, but speaking of like returns and refunds and stuff, last month I had like a good revenue, but refunds just killed it. And the thing I'm concerned about is like I'm sure like 90% of the refunds are gonna come back as sellable condition,
Yeah.
but it's just like I've heard like customers can request a refund for the order and they have like 30 to 60 days or something to send it back, right?
Right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it once it's refunded and the customer sends it back, it's like say goodbye to your 45-day turnaround. It's just
Yeah.
you're gonna sell it someday.
Yeah, and especially like it's such a hassle like with the used category like for you or apparel category. It's discouraging. I just got to keep pushing forward. Nothing I
Was
can do about that.
was the margin like still okay or
No, like last month I did 70K, but I only made like 4K profit.
really?
Yeah,
That's that's super frustrating. So what's
yeah,
the margin on that? That's
less than 10%, maybe like 5 or something.
yeah, like 6.
Yeah, see. But
That's
that's what I'm saying, like all those refunds, it can't be all removal orders. It just can't be, because I've never had that many removal orders in this whole time doing it.
mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering, like how to process it in my head is like, oh, is this a complete loss I'm taking with all the refunds? Because like for last month I had like 6,000 in refunds. So it's like, where's it going? You get me?
Yeah. Don't the refunds basically just count like you already had the sale, and so it just nullifies that?
No, I don't think it's
You
break
don't think
even.
so?
It's negative.
Yeah, you think so?
I'm pretty sure because
Pretty sure.
I have a minus 6,000 in refunds.
Minus
It's,
6,000?
yeah, like 6,000
Oh yeah,
red.
like in the red.
Yeah.
I'm pulling up Inventory Lab so I can have visuals and stuff.
Yeah, so I had like that, like 6,000 with like a 4K net profit. It wouldn't, if it just nullified it, I don't think I'd have a negative, like a red. But I don't know.
Yeah. You're in the profit and loss, right?
Yeah.
That would be some good questions to ask customer service with Inventory Lab, because I don't know how that works.
Yeah. I also want to ask more people in like that sell in the same category I do, see how they process that.
What's up? Hey, have you been hearing what we were talking about? We were talking about.
I just hopped on, man.
What's up, Josiah?
I'm curious. I'm curious if he knows. Basically, refunds and Inventory Lab, like, are those complete negatives if they come back as unfillable?
So on Inventory Lab, you're talking about like the disposition management tab?
I was looking at profit and loss. I don't know what you were looking at, Julian.
Yeah, it was profit and loss. I'd look at the refund portion of that.
Sorry to put you on the spot. We just don't know. And hi, by the way.
What's up? What's up? Can you guys hear me good? I'm getting like a little lag. I think my internet's crappy today.
Yeah, you're good for me.
Okay. You're looking at the like dashboard profit and loss?
Yeah, like the reports, profit and loss, and then it shows you the whole thing, and then there's like a refunds portion of it.
Okay. I'm trying to look at my like reimbursement.
Let me look.
Refunds, I think. It's astronomical to think of how many refunds there are. It's just, it's kind of insane to just think about. Like, thankfully, we don't have to deal with most of that, which is cool.
Yeah, like I had like $6,700 worth of refunds last month. It's ridiculous.
How did that only turn out to be 4K profit then if you did 70K?
Yeah, like my margins are not that high. I usually aim for like a 20 to 30% ROI.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, when I see like your ROIs on it when you post on your story, Seth, I'm like, what the heck? That's ridiculous. 100%. What? That's unheard of.
Used stuff is weird because it's like sometimes it's a situation where the new item is like basically out of stock everywhere, but then like the used item is on eBay every once in a while. So it's just like people are willing to pay up for it.
So are we talking like discontinued or like it's like a really hyped item that's like constantly out of stock?
Both. Could be either.
Oh, I just found it finally. Refunds. So I had like 4.7 for April.
1,000, right? Yeah.
Yeah, 1,000.
How does that work for you, Josiah? Is that something that's going to come back into your profit for like next month? Like, is most of those refunded orders going to be sellable inventory?
I have no idea, man. That's a good question. I guess it depends on how Amazon classifies it when they get it back at the warehouse. If they mark it as unfulfillable or fillable. And then what I recently discovered is if you go under accounting all the way down to the bottom, you see disposition management. And
I've never looked at that.
that's, yeah, check that one out. That's where Amazon says whether or not the return is sellable or unsellable. And then Inventory Lab will take
Oh, really?
that. Yeah, Inventory Lab will take that analysis and then do the accounting for you.
Oh my gosh, that's a big deal.
Yeah. So I found that right before I did taxes for last year. And in general, at least for merchant fulfilled stuff, I mark it always as unsellable, so the cost of goods gets deducted. And then if I can sell it again, I do so, and it's just a $0 cost of goods. And that might not be the best way to do it, but that's how I do it. And I think I don't know. You guys tell me. I think disposition management shows FBA and merchant fulfilled. Are you guys seeing stuff there?
I only do FBA, so.
Where do you see the difference?
I mean, I got a whole bunch of stuff here, but no, some of this stuff's things I only sell FBA. So.
Yeah, actually, I do see a lot. It either says removal or MFN return. Those are the only two. But mine's are like kind of like, the last one I had was like a month before. Like my last thing was a removal order from April 1st.
Your most recent one?
Yeah.
Do you just not, I mean, probably not the case, but do you just not remove stuff very much? Or?
Yeah, I think I just have it automatically done. But this would be counting for, this is just for removal orders and stuff. Is that the case?
Returns as well, at least MF returns, and then I guess if it's I guess if it's an FBA return and then it's unsellable, then it probably would show as a removal.
Yeah,
I don't think it delineates what the reason for the removal is on here.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. If it's FBA, it's gonna pop up as a removal order, and if it's merchant fulfilled, it'll show as MFN return. And I think that's where you'd have to classify it yourself for sellable or unsellable.
Yeah, exactly. What the reason for the removal is.
Oh shoot! Damn. I should have done that before then, because most of the stuff that I get merchant fulfilled. Damn. I think
and then you can see on the right column it shows the buy cost adjustment. So if you like toggle it from sellable unsellable, it'll tell you what Inventory Lab's doing accounting wise.
Wow.
Yeah.
This would have been very useful if I knew this before I paid my taxes. Damn it.
Hey, well, now you know, though.
Yeah.
I did not know about this unsellable thing, and that makes me feel so much better that it accounts for my removal orders, like already. But what does it get classified under in the profit and loss? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter if it gets added into the.
If
I think
it's probably negative. Like
I think it goes as a cost of goods sold.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you have like something that's marked unsellable, it takes off that cost of goods sold for that particular item, and you'll show a loss for it.
I see. Let's go to this, like actually bookkeeping that. And what's up, Cisco? If you're still here, good to see you.
Yeah, what's up, Cisco?
What's up, man?
What were you saying, Julian?
Do you guys just use Inventory Lab in terms of bookkeeping?
Josiah's had a bunch of fun with this recently.
Dude, I got QuickBooks as well, and been working on, recently upgraded to a S Corp for our business entity, and it changes a lot of stuff. So now I got to do payroll. I officially have a job again. And so like I'm a W-2 employee of the company, and that complicates things. And so yeah, I use QuickBooks to categorize all the transactions that don't automatically show up in Inventory Lab. I really just use Inventory Lab for the cost of goods stuff.
So what are we talking, like software costs or?
Yeah, like office supplies, or if I need to buy boxes or tape. Yeah, software, like everything I spent in Miami.
Gotcha.
Lots of business meals.
Especially my
Lots of
Yeah, my Lambo.
Lambo rental for social media guru promo.
Yeah, it seems like Inventory Lab's pretty robust. You could do it all in there, but I don't know. I like QuickBooks because it connects automatically to your bank and pulls in all the transactions.
Yeah, that's a good point, because there's probably stuff that like I think is being book kept, but like isn't, or like vice versa, like a random charge that you forget about or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
For your prep centers, do you make the prep center incorporate the buy cost with the prep cost, or how's that work? Are you manually putting the prep costs into Inventory Lab, like with other expenses?
I personally just like have the prep center cost as an expense, and then I just do the regular buy cost. But I mean, you can do it either way.
Yeah, for me, I have my prep center put the prep cost into the buy cost of the product.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so you're doing the margins you were saying before, the 20-30% with that prep cost too?
Yeah.
Oh, that's helpful.
Oh, what's good, Kevin?
Kevin, what's up?
Yo. Yeah, I do what Seth does. It's a one line shipping expense, and once a month or twice a month, however often you pay it. I feel like that way could be better because you get to deduct that fee when you pay it, as opposed to if you put it as part of the cost of goods, you can't deduct it until the item sells.
That is true.
But I think either way is accurate,
No, yeah. Also, in the way I'm doing it, they could like screw up. Like, let's say they put $1 cost, but they forgot to add the bundling fee or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's more math for them.
Yeah. How much is that prep center bill at the end of the month, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah.
Mine was like, my last one was like $1,000. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, last month mine was $1,200.
I had 2 prep centers last month, and I think I was close to $1,400-1,500.
Sheesh, that's a lot of units.
Yeah.
Julian, what's your like overall ASP?
Excuse me?
Your
Watch the language, Seth.
overall ASP.
Oh, the average sale price.
Yeah.
I think it's like I mean, can I pull up the number on Inventory Lab? You want to direct me there? Or is it just ballpark?
You can just do like Seller Central and then look at how many units you sold. That's how I do it.
Then how can I tell how many units I sold, like in orders? Manage orders.
Oh, I don't know on the computer. I do it on my phone, and I just like under product sales, you can click units sold.
Oh.
And mine's like super different between like the last 3 months or like this year and like 12 months, because I sold books before. And books were like $20 ASP.
I mean, I don't got my phone in front of me right now, but I do sell like, sneakers and stuff kind of go up in the, I'd say $70 plus range, 70 to 200.
Yeah.
So I'd say something around like $100 or $70 if I got because I did also start selling like cheaper clothing, like socks and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'd say most of the stuff I buy is like around the $100 range.
Yeah. I feel
Yeah,
like
so-
we're. Go ahead.
If you want to see your ASP on your computer, you go to oh, what did I just click? Business reports.
Business reports.
And then you'll see a sales dashboard. You can click both Amazon and seller fulfilled, and you can choose what dates you want to. It'll tell you the total sales and total total units.
Oh, got you. Yeah, mine is actually lower than I thought. 56.75 for. Oh wait, no. That's just for this week. My bad. Hold on. Year to date would probably be better. Apply. 66.
That's high.
Yeah.
A lot of a lot of people have like, it's like $30 or $40, and there it's like, I feel like you're doing grocery or like books or something else.
There's like small and light items. They're like $10. Sell 1 million of them.
Yeah.
Make
Have
1
ASP.
million pennies.
Like $9.50.
Yeah. I'm apparently at $79 right now for ASP. That's higher than I thought.
Yeah, that's really high.
Yeah.
What
Hey,
do
Seth,
what's your category?
What's my category? Stuff that sells for profit.
Lots of stuff.
Yeah, I think Cisco's confusing us, Josiah. Because you do Turo, not me.
It's the 2 J's.
Mm.
All right, I'm gonna
Yeah.
read it. Hey, Josiah, how is Turo going? You're familiar with the DMV area, and would you recommend it here? Is that Dallas? DMV area?
That's the Northern Virginia, DC, Maryland, Virginia. That like.
Oh, he means Josiah.
Yeah, that's what DMV means. Turo in the DMV area, that's probably good. I've never looked into that area. You could do some market analysis. Look up carsync.io. It's free. You might need a Turo a car live on Turo in order to get into that and see the stuff. But you can look at what cars are pricing for per day and how many cars are on the market there. What stuff's popular. I know here in Alaska, I've got a really unique, super touristy, super limited car rental supply, especially talking about like what Hertz and stuff has to offer. So I can get some really, really high prices in the summer, and then winter's pretty slow. But I'd imagine there's some opportunity in the DMV area.
I bet a lot of people have to visit there just because of like the government and stuff.
Yeah. Or you could probably get people coming into that area for short-term contract jobs. They need a car for a month or two, and that can be a great way to make some money. Some long-term rentals where you don't really have to do any work for 2 months.
Yeah, Turo sounds dope. That's something I'd be interested in getting into. Is it relatively passive, Josiah, or is it very like hands-on?
I think it depends how you do it. The hardest or the most intensive part is taking care of the maintenance of the vehicles and cleaning them between each rental. And so if you're going to clean them yourself and you have multiple vehicles, that can be a decent amount of work. But if you hire someone to clean it, it can be pretty passive. And that's what I've done primarily, having someone clean it between them, where like I don't even. Yeah, I had it set up pretty good last year with one guy in particular, and I didn't see one of our vehicles for like 2 months, and it went on like 8 rentals in that time. That was awesome.
And they pick up the car, the people that rent, or you have to drop it off?
You make the rules however you want to do it. So I park them at a parking lot near the airport that has a shuttle back and forth, because most people coming into my area that need a rental car are flying in from the airport. So I try to get my vehicle as close and as convenient as possible for them. But you could just park it at your house, put a key box on it, tell them they have to come and punch a key box in to get the key, and keep it a little more automated that way.
Got you. And for that, if you were to leave it at like a parking lot, are you doing that like on a daily basis, or you're doing like a monthly term with that parking lot? Like, what? How's that work?
Right now, I'm paying a daily rate with that parking lot, like $10 a day. They do have some opportunities for like a monthly flat rate, but I've just done a daily.
And you leave it there, but you're paying daily. Like,
over the winter, I brought the cars back to my house a bunch because they were sitting quite a bit. But in the summer, honestly, they're rented out like 25 out of 30 days, and so there's not much sitting. It's usually being driven by a renter.
nice. Yeah, because I got an airport like literally like 15 minutes away from me, so I would want to, get into that,
Yeah, check it out. Look, just go to Turo.com, see what people are renting cars for in your area.
This went completely like outside of Amazon.
I'll title the video "How to Get Started with Turbo," beginner guide only.
Yeah. I do. My wife and I, we have a Entreprenable podcast. I can shoot you a link later, and we've been talking about some Turo stuff a little bit if you're interested in hearing more.
Yeah, for sure.
Is like the end game basically like, how does buying the cars work? Like, do most people finance the cars and then like with the fees look to like pay off the car and then sell the car and that's your payout? Or like you're kind of building equity, or like it almost sounds like Amazon, where like for a long time most of the money is invested in inventory, or maybe like several months anyways, and then like eventually like once everything sells, like you go super positive.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have slightly different business models. Definitely, I've run into people doing what you just said. They're basically paying off the car, and while they're paying off the car, they have a bit of margin that they can pocket beyond the car payment. But their biggest payout is going to be when they sell the car or it gets totaled and they get an insurance payout.
You better hope to get the insurance payout. So you have like amazing insurance basically.
Yeah. The biggest thing is you got to play by Turo's terms of service, follow their rules, because if your vehicle is in an accident, they will, I've heard, look for reasons to deny your claim if you didn't follow a certain rule here or there. But if you follow the rules, you should be pretty good. I personally paid cash for all my cars, and I'm just using any profits from that to cash flow future car purchases. And so the equity in that business is going to be, all tied up in vehicles for the most part. And someday I'll probably sell some off and take a little payout, or sell some here and there and upgrade to better vehicles. I think long term we want to get into Airbnb, so we'll probably use this to cash flow that type of business. At some point, sell off 4 or 5 and get a townhouse or something like that.
That's sick.
Smart
Yeah.
move. And is this like a different business outside of Amazon, like LLC wise or S corp?
Yeah, I got a different LLC for that.
Nice.
Definitely, if you're going to do it, do an LLC and keep it separate from Amazon.
All right.
Yeah, I'd recommend that. Yeah, you could do it as a sole prop or whatever.
This is true, Kevin. I was in Georgia, like literally came back yesterday, but got too caught up with family, which is a good thing. But I missed out seeing Kevin.
You were visiting there for family?
Yeah, it was my dad's birthday, and I surprised him.
Oh, that's fun. Florida was like a gorgeous place. I feel like Florida, Georgia, like it would just be humid and really green and really pretty. But
Well, for Florida?
Yeah, for Florida.
Yeah.
And Georgia.
Georgia, from what I've experienced and what they've told me, is the weather's not as extreme as Florida is. So it's like a nice in between like up north, like Jersey, where I'm from, and like super down south, like Miami. So like over there right now, when I was there, it was like in the high 70s, low 80s.
Nice. So it's just like more mild and
Yeah, the weather's more like moderate.
yeah. That's
Josiah
fun.
just like dipped.
Probably DC'd. He said his internet was bad, so.
Mm. Do
we went on a little Turo rant there. That's good.
Yeah, I'm curious until like I actually have like a little word here and it says right there, Turo. If you can read that. It's a business idea I want because like something that keeps my eyes up at night is like Amazon could just shut me down, you know. I want to have like a backup plan or like another source of income.
Yeah.
And something like that's semi-passive even, like maybe possibly Turo's something I'd want to get into. But I'm wondering if it's like capital intensive. Like what? Do you have to get like what, like a 10K car for the daily rate to make sense, or and then how much is insurance and all that stuff.
Yeah. I definitely think about the whole like, what if Amazon shut me down on a semi-consistent basis? Definitely a couple things that I think about there is like, you have an LLC, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good for, as far as I know, like correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if like Amazon were to like shut us down, and we have an LLC and like a lot of our inventory was on like credit or loans or something, like we could always bankrupt the business to like kind of get out of that.
That I don't.
I don't know if that's true, but like I think that's part of the reason why you have an LLC is to like deal with like that liability. That's why like credit cards are so like hesitant to give big limits sometimes, I think.
And speaking of the LLCs though, it's actually I'm not sure if I did it right. So I do.
And that's not tax advice.
I don't. Yeah, no. This
Yeah.
is about more Seller Central and inputting your LLC. Like, did you guys do that from the get-go? And if not, would you be able to help me? Because I'm not sure if I did it right.
Just like I know I didn't have an LLC until December, so I switched it.
So you put the LLC into what?
This is fun. I think I just. Yes, it is.
Yeah, Kevin, my internet sucks.
How did we do that?
Cause like what? Okay, I'm gonna like.
I was a sole prop for a while, and then I upgraded maybe like a year and a half ago. And I think you got to go in and fill out a tax form under tax settings.
Oh, so like
go to settings, tax settings, and then you'll somewhere in there you'll
yeah, like right now I'm like I'm trying to update, like right now I'm in like the update tax information section. And for tax identity, you switch from like your social security and put your EIN instead? Is that what happened?
I don't think I've done this.
You haven't done it?
No.
That's what you should do.
So like what happens if I don't do that?
You're gonna get a 1099 with your social on it, not your EIN.
Oh, so I should do that for this year now that I'm an LLC.
Yeah.
So you're in my boat, Seth.
What's that?
You're in my boat.
I'm in your boat.
Nice.
So what happened to me last year is, I guess I was a sole prop from January through about May, and then I switched to an LLC, and I ended up getting two 1099s from last year. One had my social on it for the beginning of the year, and the other had my EIN. So whatever date you put the EIN in, you'll probably end up, that'll be the start date for that EIN 1099, and you'll get one with your social for the beginning of the year, and talk to a CPA about how to do that.
Not financial advice.
Or go to Seth. Seth is a
yeah. I'm so good at taxes. Just write off everything, guys. Write off everything. I'd love to just write off everything. Actually, my first year of reselling, I was delightfully misinformed that I mean, I thought that like if I spent money on inventory, it was a cost, and so if I was negative, I didn't have to pay taxes. But I think I made so little that year anyways that like it wasn't a big deal. It was like almost nothing.
Speaking of like starting out and stuff, how did you guys get the capital to like get into Amazon? Was it like progressively like with profits from Amazon, or you started big with something?
For me, I was selling on an app called Depop, just selling used clothing, and then I like switched into eBay more so, and then was kind of like reinvesting for more inventory, but like that inventory was cheap. It was just more a matter of like me spending time to find it. Then I reinvested some of that back into Amazon books, and then reinvested some of the book stuff back into like RA, OA and stuff. All while like paying ourselves enough to do enough. I don't know. What about you, Josiah?
Yeah, I started with about $200 2 or 3 years ago, doing books. Like Seth did books for a while, part-time, while I was still in the Army, and just kept all the profits in the business, cash flowing it into more and more inventory. And at one point last year, the only other money I put about 10 grand of money I had somewhere else into some Amazon stuff. But you can definitely, I think, do pretty good just cash flowing it. And as long as you don't need to take money out, you can grow it pretty well that way.
Yeah. But also on like the topic of taking money out, do you guys? And if you do, how do you manage that between like, you know, reinvesting your profits and like making sure you're growing the business?
Yeah, I take money out. This is what I live off of, and have been since about November 2020. I've been paying myself every month. And yeah, that was a tough one to figure out. And for a while there at the beginning, I didn't even have inventory lab. I didn't know how much profit I was making every month. And so I, for a couple months, was taking more money out than profit I was actually making. And that was bad. And I had to mature a little, figuring out accounting and stuff. And we basically take out right now what we want to live off of, and we're at a pretty comfortable number where that still lets us grow the business pretty well with extra profits.
Is it a set number or like a percentage of your profit?
I'm doing a set number right now.
Gotcha.
But when you're starting out and you have lower profit, I think a percentage is probably a good way to go until you get to where you're comfortable to take a set number.
Okay. You, Seth?
Yeah, for me, I've just been doing a set number for quite a while. I think probably a year and a half at this point, like between eBay and Amazon. Yeah, it's kind of just been a set number, and I think for a while, like my sales were like super flatlined at like 15 to 20K a month. And it was because I wasn't using any kind of credit, and I was taking out a majority of my money, and I wasn't like trying to buy tons more inventory. But I think around like late last year, I started like I did like a 0 APR card, started scaling a bit more on credit, but I still pay myself around the same, and a little bit more sometimes. I don't have like a super set in stone way of doing it. But yeah, how about you?
I'm so scared. Like I have the benefit that I still live with my parents, so it's like I'm reinvesting everything.
That's a great way to do it. Speaking about investing everything, there's Romer.
What up? I put my life savings in all my OA products.
Jeez.
How do I sound right now? Does it sound good? I got these new headphones.
Yeah,
Sounds
you're
great,
good.
actually.
Cool. I'm trying to look like Tufu in this bitch. You guys watch Tufu? Is that his name, Tufu?
Toof, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, who's
Tufu,
that?
the streamer. The
Oh, the Fortnite guy.
people always say I look like him, and now I got the
Oh.
damn fucking. I got the gamers headphones now. These are legit though. I bought some really crappy headphones last week, and I was like, why would I do this? And so these were like really expensive, but they're. I mean, I shoot so many videos. I should have a nice mic, you know.
Yeah, it's a good point. That's kind of been on my to-do list to get a microphone. One time I recorded a video recently. I'm like, shoot, I can't hear myself. That's a problem.
Yeah. So hopefully it's coming out of this mic. There's a chance it might be coming out of one of these others, but
You need to get yourself like a Razer mouse and like some frozen pizza and stuff. Yeah.
I had this. Check out this computer. I mean, it looks like a gamer's computer, you know.
Bro, is that a Dell Inspiron?
GeForce
Ah.
GTX.
Ah,
See that?
Dude,
So-
I got that exact same laptop. MSI something, right?
MSI. It's Core i7 9th generation GeForce GTX. That's all I know.
I mean, mine says
look,
GeForce
right,
GTX.
look right under the screen. It should say MSI in the center.
If it does, I'm blind. Oh wait. S3 Strix. I don't know.
I don't know what you're reading, man.
It's just straight black. It's hard to see. I need to pull a
Oh
flashlight
yeah,
out.
But yeah, you're going hard with the gamer stuff, but
Yeah.
headphones.
You know why I bought this? I bought this originally for Caleb Roth's tracking spreadsheet because it took so damn long to load that, and I was so stressed, and I was too much of an idiot to hire a VA at the time to do it. I had VAs working for me, but I just thought VAs weren't smart enough to deal with spreadsheets. Boy, was I wrong. Like now I give tasks to VAs now that they handle like way more spreadsheet work than I do. Like they're like, this is like obvious, but they're like really, really qualified over there. Like you get what you pay for. Like somebody on my team's working right now for $35 an hour. So they're basically like they're a millionaire in the Philippines working for that much, you know?
I mean, that's expensive in the United States.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, things get real when you start paying your VAs like more than some people make in the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm paying I hired a video editor recently and paying him like some Americans don't make that much. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is. Like $5 an hour is a lot for them.
Yeah. But yeah, we were talking about paying ourselves and how we do that. How do you go about that, Romer? Because I don't
have a good system for it. I mean, I just spend money, and that's really it. Like I will, like I go by. I'm sure he doesn't recommend all of this, but what's his name? I will teach you to be rich. 𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗁𝗍. He says like go all out in some categories of your life, and then don't spend shit in others. So like I still drive a Toyota Corolla. I'm not going to buy a new car until I hit my savings goal. But like if somebody invites me to Africa or Europe or Russia or some shit, like I'm going. Maybe not Russia, but I probably would go to Russia right now. You know, like for me, it's like that's my priority. So I'm just going to go. So like, I mean, I spent over, I don't know. I think I spent like $130,000 personally last year. Maybe less than that. Hopefully less than that. But my QuickBooks say that. I'm still like looking at that. I'm like, is that real? But I mean, I didn't buy a new car. If I would have bought a new car, that would have been like 30 to 50,000 negative. Like I didn't buy a house. There's a lot of things I don't buy, you know? So basically like I spend what I want. And then like, I try to be as frugal as possible in other areas of my life. And that's kind of it. I mean,
Yeah.
I started out living in my car, you know, like my priority's always been travel, like back from day one. And that was probably out of my budget. Like living in my car, traveling the country was probably out of my budget. Like I wasn't making any money when I first started. So like Dave Ramsey would have told me like, stay home and work,
Exactly. Yeah. It's a hard balance between all that. And Ramsey's, he's a character, that's for sure.
Screw Dave Ramsey.
I think he's got good things and bad things,
I think his advice is really good for
people who don't know how to handle money.
Like 90% of people, I think.
Yeah.
And then
otherwise credit card companies wouldn't be in business, if people didn't.
A ton.
Yeah. Like those annual fees, if they only made money off annual fees and they made no money off interest, there would be no credit cards. It just wouldn't be worth it for them,
I mean, most don't even have annual fees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like fees are really hard to keep track of if you're like off track.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those APRs can get ridiculous. Like there's a lot that are like 20%, 25%.
Exactly.
I mean, there's like, I don't know if you guys ever played video games, but people like try and lure in those video games. And a credit card lure is the 0% APR trick. Just stack all your garbage on there and you just forget about it. And then after you, boom, destroyed. GG.
Is this financial advice?
We were talking about what were we talking about? Like CPAs and
tax fraud
and laundering money. Yeah.
That would be a good channel. This is financial advice, because everyone always says that. So just put this as financial advice.
And then
like knees over toes guy. They're always like, don't put your knees over your toes, like at yoga class. So he made a name out of it. Knees over toes guy. Like, yeah, do this shit.
Knees over toes guy. Taylor loves yoga, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's like, wasn't he a yoga instructor?
I think I don't know if he ever, I know he's instructed yoga before. I don't know if he ever like made money doing it.
Okay. Like,
but he used to like go to like yoga camps and shit, I think. I know he doesn't like teaching. He says he likes doing it instead.
I feel like it's not as relaxing if you have to be like responsible for like 15 people. It's probably fulfilling, but not relaxing. That makes sense.
I just made a YouTube video. Is selling books on Amazon dead? Yes. I feel like it's going to do really well.
It's saturated. Nobody reads books, man.
It's all digital.
I made one of those super clickbaity thumbnails with like skulls all over the place and like me like freaking out.
Your Corolla in the background.
I don't see it.
It's not going to be up till tomorrow.
Oh, I'm like, I don't see it. I've seen like the how to 7x your luck.
Yeah. That I don't want to post too many YouTube videos in one day. I should probably wait a couple of days to post it, actually.
Yeah.
Is it me or is there like a crazy influx of all these Amazon sellers making YouTube channels and posting? Like,
probably is. I mean, are you getting into content? Anytime you do something yourself, like if you buy new shoes, everybody's wearing new shoes. If you buy a new car, everyone has that new car. Yeah. So if you start posting content, you're like, oh, wow, there's all these other people posting content.
That's a good point.
That can be the reason too, because I mean, not YouTube, but for me, Instagram.
I mean, before you started posting, how many like YouTube channels did you notice like with less than 1,000 subscribers? Probably none. And so now that you're looking for them, you're like, oh, wow, there's all these people popping up.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, I bought a park pass the other day and then like saw that like a ton of other people had park passes now that like I like see it on the car.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I think they call that like your reticular activating system. Yeah.
So Avery, you doing OA now?
Yep, getting into it. Trying to keep my spend as high as possible. But today, like I'm really working on tracking. So we're getting our tracking system in place. So I know exactly how much I'm spending each day, what my average sales rank is, how deep I'm going in certain categories. Just from selling on Amazon, I know a few things can happen. Like, I don't know how often this happens, but like how often do you just get gated in a category, like after you send your items to Amazon. Does that happen outside of the book world? That happens with textbooks all the time. You send in a textbook, Amazon told you could sell it. The moment they receive it, psych bitch, and then they make it go restricted. Does that happen with other categories often?
Yeah, sometimes the brands will find a way to restrict it.
That's
I've had that
yeah.
a few times.
Okay.
Can they get category?
I think it happens like immediately. I don't know if the brand takes any action. I think it's like, I literally think it's Amazon's way of like getting your inventory, so they can sell it themselves.
Maybe that would be more with like
claims
and counterfeit claims.
Yeah. So like I'm being careful. Like I know Nike, I'm probably safe because I know I can get other accounts ungated in Nike worst case. But there's some brands that I'm buying that are like, it almost seems like too good to be true. And I'm asking people, like Tim said, it wasn't an issue. The certain shoe brand that I'm going after. So, I mean, we'll see. But I'm kind of like at the stage, like I have this product that I could probably spend like 10K on today. But I'm like, I just don't know if I'm going to get gated in it. Otherwise, and I also don't know a lot of things, you know. So what I've spent, I got to make sure that this starts selling. And then once it starts selling, I can go deeper. Seems like a lot of these guys just have like almost like a portfolio of replenishables that they just buy over and over and over again. That's what I want to get to, you know.
Well, Josiah, when in your experience, when a brand restricted you, can't you removal order that back to yourself and liquidate it some other way?
Yeah, I've always gotten the stuff back. Amazon's never kept it from me. And then you find another way to sell it, eBay it, Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, the thing I don't like about that is that's like a 2-month process because it takes them like a month to get back to you, if not longer. And then sometimes they send you random shit. They'll just send you like a random toy. I don't sell toys, or now I do, but before I didn't. And I would request books back and we would just get toys. It's like, wait, what?
That's bizarre. I think I've never seen that Amazon just restricted me right when my stuff gets checked in. You're more likely to get an IP complaint and then get restricted that way, I think, for outside the book category.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense. Still a risk regardless.
Absolutely, yeah.
I noticed when I sold books, it happened more with books than it did with OA stuff. Okay. Like that's
good to know.
It really hasn't happened to me that much. I wouldn't be too worried about it, but like what can happen is if you miscalculate the velocity of a listing and you go super deep in it, like you could like miscalculate and have like 7 months worth by accident because you like did the calculation wrong.
Yeah. Here's one I just did that on. Well, actually, Amazon kind of messed me up. It was me, Amazon, and the brand were the only 3 sellers on this listing. IP alert was blazing red. I went for it anyway. And I was undercutting Amazon by $2 or $3, and I had the buy box for like 3 weeks straight. And then Amazon started pricing against me right after I ordered like another 100 units. And I had to drop my price by like $20 in order to get the buy box again. Still making money. But
what's going deep on a product? Like how many is that? Like 20 units? Is it 50, 100? Like what is deep for you?
For me, I probably put like $8,000 into that one ASIN. I think I had maybe 140 of those units. Yeah,
that's pretty deep. Do you think like is 20 units for you at this stage? Is that kind of like a test, or is that more of like, oh, I'm pretty serious about this if I buy 20 of them?
Yeah, most of the test orders I've been putting in the last week or two, I do 10 to 20 units, somewhere in there, depending on how many sales 𝗬𝗑𝗶𝗹 is saying it gets per month.
Yeah, 𝗬𝗑𝗶𝗹 is interesting. How do you how are you calculating that? What are you looking at on 𝗬𝗑𝗶𝗹? Are you looking at the variations tab? Are you looking at 𝗬𝗑𝗶𝗹 drops, sales drops per month?
Yeah, mostly just the sales drops.
Okay.
But
the issue is, isn't there like an inverse relationship with like super fast selling stuff? I mean, obviously you kind of know if it's super fast selling because it just hangs out down low.
It's a wriggler. It just like keeps jumping back and forth.
And so the drops aren't even happening because you see this during textbook season. The textbooks just go so low in sales rank that there's no more drops because it's just down low, and then it goes back up. I read that warning on Keepa. It's like the default warning. It's like it says something kind of like what I just said, but you do go off Keepa. I never see Keepa drops like over like 100. I feel like once it gets like up that high, it starts going almost back down. Is that true? I'm just talking shit over here. I don't know.
Like once it goes high, it goes back down. What do you mean by that?
Because like, okay, you have a Keepa graph that sells once a year. What's that look like? It goes sells once a year, twice a year, and then once you get up to the point where it's selling like 1,000 times a year, it's like da 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 da, and then like if it's selling like 10,000, 12, however many plus, it's like it just hangs out at a low level. So like I was looking at a product the other day. I'm like, wow, this is really fast selling, but it only had like 30 or 38 sales drops. And I'm like, I think it sells more than this. I think it just goes down so much.
Yeah. At a certain point, like a Keepa graph is like so fast that the drops aren't like I stopped using the drops as a thing. But then if I see it drops like 30 times and be like, okay, like maybe it sells like 20 to 40.
I guess also like a bunch of buy box. If you go to buy box statistics and you just see like a bunch of sellers have a share of the buy box, it's probably a good indicator. It gets lots of sales too. It's kind of like if you post something on your Instagram story. Like if I vote on somebody's story and it's like 75% said this, 25% said this, I know probably only like 4 people voted. But if I go somewhere and it's like 67% or like 66%, I'm like, oh, there's a lot of people voting on this. I feel like it's kind of the same with buy box statistics.
Yeah.
So I wish you could click in and see all the exact sales like you can on an Instagram poll.
Yeah, that'd be cool. There's definitely not a 1-to-1 ratio. I mean, I just pulled up one that I've been selling on. It's a 4,000 rank grocery. Keepa says 106 drops per month. You put into the Jungle Scout sales estimator, it says it's selling like 1,700 units a month.
And do you know how Jungle Scout determines that?
Well, I mean, how many sales per month would a 3,000 ranked book have?
Yeah, a decent amount.
Like Caleb Roth probably knows, but like they do the same.
I mean,
math
a
for
million ranked
every
book
category.
gets like 12 sales a year, so I mean 300K is pretty solid.
Yeah, so they calculate it somehow using similar stats.
Well, what about Yeti? I'm looking at all these different Yeti.
I heard that's a big IP. I don't know.
But I mean, if you're buying it from like Yeti.com, are they gonna still? Could you like make it past the IP complaint, or are they just still like, no, screw you, get off the listing?
I think I'm restricted in it.
Yeah, but people are saying you can like order from this distributor to get ungated. But I'm wondering if it's worth it or not.
Yeah, try asking someone that that sells it. I have seen storefronts that sell Yeti, but I didn't have the confidence with that IP complaint thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a situation where, like, if it says IP complaints in like IP alert and seller amp, but yet you find a listing where you're not getting IP complaints, that like not beginner advice. Like as a beginner, I'd probably just stay away from it, especially if you're nervous about account health. But like those are opportunities if you do find something, but it's also like risky because
is IP alert, is it ASIN specific? Does it say like, or is it more brand specific?
Brand specific.
Okay. So it doesn't consider like per listing, like, oh, this listing will never get IP. That'd be cool if it could do that.
Yeah. It's like riskier territory, but potentially profitable. Or potentially just like way too risky. Depends on how you want to do things.
How do you determine whether it's a go or not in terms of those risky things? Do you look at the offer count like not dropping crazy, but it still shows the IP alert? Does that mean it's still okay to go for it?
I mean, okay to go for it is very subjective. But
okay, define subjective for you. What is it for you, Seth?
Well, like for me specifically, if it's like if there's not a ton of drop-offs, that's a good sign. If it's an older type item, that is potentially a good sign. If I see like a lot of other people are selling it consistently, that's a good sign. If the brand is on the listing, I would be a lot more cautious. That's a big one. Probably a combination of all those things. What about you, Julian?
I stay away.
You just stay away.
There's some that IP alert would say it's, you know, IP, but if you look at another IP thing, it says it wouldn't. So I think in the case where it's, for me, it's like one says yes, the other says no, I'll just give it a test. But if both say yes, then I'll be like, nah, maybe not.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's just interesting because like you'll see big sellers like, or maybe big, I don't know, with like people who look like they know what they're doing, like selling lots of like IP alert stuff. Like you'll go through their store and it's just like IP alert, IP alert.
Yeah.
So like obviously like people sell this and they don't get banned, because how do you get 300 feedback without getting banned?
You think they're doing OA, or is that like a wholesaler type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, it could be either.
They could be an authorized distributor, but that's definitely a good point. I think one thing to consider is you got to think about why items are showing up red or yellow on IP alert, and it's all driven by what sellers feed IP alert. So you can go in as a user of IP alert and say, hey, this brand gave me an IP complaint, and then you submit paperwork, and then IP alert adds that to their database. But what also gets added is cease and desist letters. So sometimes if you're getting a red IP alert, that means that somebody got a cease and desist letter from the brand and not an IP complaint. And then you can decide what you want to do with that information. But I'm definitely on a few different brand listings where they mail me a bunch of trash that I throw away. If they're watching, I never got those letters. But they've never given me an IP complaint, but the page is blazing red, and it keeps sellers like Julian off the listing. So it's actually beneficial.
We don't want sellers like Julian on our listings.
Man, that's crazy.
So come hang out, I guess. But
so you just got to decide your risk tolerance, and I think it seems like part of that is think about the age of your account. That seems to be a really big metric in what Amazon's going to do if and when you get some complaints.
Yeah.
So what's your metric, Josiah, just to clarify, for IPs?
What do you mean? How many IP complaints do I have right now?
No, I'm not asking that. But
have an old account. That's the metric.
How do you determine when to go into a listing that has IP?
Honestly, I've been selling full time for like a year and a half now, and I just got IP alert like a couple months ago.
Whoa.
And I was getting a butt ton of IP complaints before that. So now I know certain brands that I've sold before, and now I'm like, well, there's an IP alert on that one. Weird. Well, I've always sold this brand and never had a problem. And so there's a supplement, for example, right now that I got on it and sold a bunch before I got IP alert. And now I know that there's potential IP something with it. So I'm a little more cautious with it, but I just put in a bunch of orders for other ASINs for that same brand. So maybe that'll bite me. But I think if you feel like you have the tolerance to get an IP complaint and the listing looks really, really good, do a small test order and see what happens.
Gotcha. And these listings that you're talking about, are you like the only seller on the listing besides like Amazon or something? Like, is there like a lot of competition? Is that, because that could be a good sign, like Seth was saying.
Yeah, some of them do have a lot of competition, and that's definitely worth considering. I think if you see 10, 15 sellers on it, you might be safe to go ahead. But you can look at the 𝗬𝗂 data for number of sellers, and if there's a steep drop, that's maybe something to be cautious with.
The other way, or for me, if I see that.
Yeah, but sometimes I've hopped on listings that I know I'm gonna get an IP complaint, but it's too lucrative, and I just sell as many as I can until they send me a complaint.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Cost benefit analysis. Is this
Yeah,
worth getting
exactly.
sued?
And the answer is always yes.
Damn. And your account health has been like okay for the majority of your time selling?
No, man.
No?
I got shut down like 2 or 3 months ago because I got up to about 10 IP complaints.
Ooh.
And I've always had IP complaints on my account for like a year and a half. I've always had a couple, and I've just ignored them for the most part. And so it got, when I hit double digits, then Amazon started calling me, and I had to do the what's the letter, plan of action.
Plan of action.
And I had a chat with a customer service rep. She walked me through it. I submitted my plan of action. They deactivated my account right after I submitted it. But all they had me do is I did a 30-minute training, video training, that told me about what IP infringement is. And I took a 10-question quiz at the end of it, and then they reactivated my account, and I'm back to getting IP complaints. Which is super weird. I've never heard of anyone else getting that training, so I don't think that's the normal way to go. I mean, my account, I opened my Amazon account in probably like 2013, so it's got a little more age than most people I know.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's almost 10 years. Nice.
Yeah, I sold one book 10 years ago, and then didn't do anything for 8 years.
That's a lucrative strat.
Yeah.
Like, just to get that account age, just sell one thing on the platform, just sit on it.
That's exactly what I was thinking 10 years ago. Like, let me set
Hey,
my
see if you can
metrics up.
sell this ASIN. I'm going to share it in the private chat. I want to see if you're ungated in textbooks. Boom. See if you can sell that one.
Then sell the account to Romer.
I'll buy it from you.
No, I can't sell that one. I started with books. I was gated in most of the tough brands for whatever reason.
Now that I know how to store stock people, I'm going on this books listing right now as we speak, and I'm looking at all the names of the sellers on the listing, and I'm finding them on Facebook. And a lot of them are like members of the book selling groups, and I'm saving their stores just so I can potentially talk to them in the future about buying their accounts.
Oh, that's smart.
Wow.
Yeah.
You ever had somebody, a customer, message you and try to sell you a book through Amazon?
Wait,
No. I mean,
Yes,
not that
weird.
I don't read any of my customers' messages, but I haven't.
no
that I know
response. Did.
Yeah, no, I did not respond. But it's like they found that I was selling a certain book and then offered to sell me that book for like 75% of the going price. It's like, it probably works.
So do IP complaints eventually drop off then? Yeah. So if the IP complaint is on your account for 6 months and like nothing goes wrong from there, it gets dropped off. Yeah. Yep.
I think that the thing to keep an eye on is the account health rating and the little color bar. So whenever I've had complaints and I've been in the green area, I don't really worry about it. But a couple times I've gotten into yellow, and that's, I think, where you need to take some serious action.
Can't things happen though when you're in the green though? Like as far as temporary shutdowns or shutdowns?
Possibly. I've never had a problem when I'm in the green.
I wish.
Were you ever in the green though, Josiah?
Yeah, man. My account stays in the green up to like 6 or 7 complaints.
Nice. That's actually a lot. I'm scared after like 2.
I've got 2 right now, or 3. I don't know. I don't look at it often.
You live on the edge, Josiah. I can't with that.
Dude,
I won't be able to sleep.
It's a risky business. Nothing is safe on Mr. Bezos' playground.
Very true.
There's 45 people selling that book, Romer. You have a nice stack of lists of.
I just found this guy. He's like got like a running LLC, like something about running, and I found his Facebook page, and he's like vlogging his bike trips and stuff. I'm wondering how serious of a seller he is. Like, he's not in any of the Facebook groups. He might just be like a college kid selling his book. He's priced way too high on it too. We could reach out to him. But he has 28 reviews. I mean, that's a decent number. That's not a small number of reviews.
Is that within the last 12 months or?
What does it display on Amazon by default?
I think it's 12 months.
Yeah, 12 months. So I mean, that's pretty good, even for a bookseller.
That's probably full time.
I mean, for an OA seller, they could be making serious money, but for a bookseller, you've sold at least a few thousand.
How do you guys get ungated? So basically, you have to buy from an authorized like distributor. Basically, anywhere that gives you a whole like a invoice, basically. So you buy 10 units of a certain ASIN in a category or brand, and you upload that to Amazon. Romer, you've been smoking.
Why?
That's just what Cisco says. But
no, I have not. Oh, maybe it's my mic. Do I sound rough?
It's just like maybe the mic is just so good that it makes you sound.
My like, true voice is coming out. Hey guys, Romer the Romer here.
I just started like that.
No, I have been talking. I've been making a ton of content. Like I just got off a Zoom call with all my students. So
nice.
Probably why.
Question for you guys. How do you track keeping replenishable type items in stock? I'm having a really hard time matching up the ordering of a new batch so that I don't go out of stock and miss out on a week or two of sales.
That's a good question. I second his.
You second. Yeah, I guess for me, I have like a document and I wish I'd like, I'm working on like delegating more and more of this, but basically when I buy something, I write down in the document, like with that ASIN, like send in like 10 of these on like April 22nd. And then I have Roseanne, my VA, go in to my like delegate Amazon account basically, and I have her look through what sold in the last week. And so she updates those numbers every single week. And then I see like, okay, well now I need more of these, like whatever this is. So I start buying it again.
Yeah. I mean, I have this spreadsheet and I don't even know if I sold an OA item yet, but I do really well at tracking in my book business. And what I'm doing with this spreadsheet is it's called the transaction report on Amazon, has everything that has ever happened to your account balance. So it accounts for all orders, all refunds, adjustments, which means Amazon lost your shit. They paid you for it. What else is there? Your payouts, everything balances out. Everything that affected your balance is going to be on this report. So basically, all the important stuff is your orders, refunds, sales, all that shit. That is your sales, orders and refunds. And so we take all that, we throw it in a raw sales data. And I have like 6 Amazon accounts, so it's kind of a pain, but we have a software that does it for us, consolidates it all in one sheet. Long story short, get that in a sheet. You can do a lot of cool things with that. Now you can do what's called a VLOOKUP, and you can if as long as you have the ASIN associated with your SKU, as long as you have the SKU associated with the ASIN, then you can do a VLOOKUP in the sales report for the SKU, and it can balance out how much you've sold. Therefore, how many do you have left in stock? And so that's what we're going to do. And we're also going to have the sales reports to determine true profit, to make sure our inventory was listed properly, like all that important stuff too. Like the sales data is nice to have, but it's just nice to have that in like one place. So I recommend, if you have 1 or 2 Amazon accounts, pull the sales data like at least once a month, throw it in a Google Sheet, and then do a VLOOKUP to your sourcing spreadsheet that has how many you had in stock. And anyway, that's my response for that. I think once I figure this out for myself, I'll probably just make this free for everyone and just like make that like a lead magnet for my own personal brand or something.
That would be valuable. Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
Josiah, I actually forgot about something, but if you go into Seller Central and you go into inventory and you go to inventory planning, I think Amazon kind of gives you like their recommended ASINs to restock.
They want
Yeah,
you
and that's also good, but just like the one problem with that is like, let's say that Josiah buys like 20 products from a website and they're inbound to the prep center. Your spreadsheet can account for that, whereas like Amazon can't. You know what I mean? So like, it's nice to have a spreadsheet, but that's probably like the easiest solution. What you just said, like just go on Amazon and just look at what needs to be restocked. But it's nice to have a spreadsheet because you can see like, oh, I sold all these for 13 profit and I'm out of stock. Or you can see I sold all these for 13 profit and I have 8 inbound to Amazon and 28 inbound to the prep center, and then get a better glimpse of what's truly going on. Like that's how I plan on doing it. Hopefully I have a few replenishables that I've sourced. That's why I'm trying not to source too many products that are just like coupons, like a one-time thing. Like, oh, I bought it one time, but that sale's never going to happen again.
Yeah.
Sometimes Replenishable is doing that though, but
the sales but with those sales happen like quarterly or like monthly, weekly. I would say for that would be considered replenishable. But if it's a literal one-off sale, then
I've heard people call it like a sale plan. Like
Yeah.
it's replenishable like when the sale.
Yeah, that's like a whole nother level that I'm not at yet. Like
Nah.
I will eventually get to the point where like I know X website's gonna have a sale, but right now I'm just buying as much crap as possible, see what sticks, rinse and repeat, and then we'll get fancy with it. But I'm gonna get out of here, guys. My
Peace. Yeah.
my camera's about to die. You see that little flash?
Yeah. Yeah. We'll probably call it in a couple minutes as well. So see you, Romer. Thanks for stopping by.
Peace out for
See
sure.
you, man.
Yeah.
If you guys have any other questions, let us know. We'll probably get off in like 3 minutes.
Either of you guys ever done the in inventory management? You can set a replenishment alert. I set up a couple this week, and you can say, "Hey, Amazon, alert me when I have X units left, or alert me when I have 2 weeks worth of inventory left." That's what I'm trying out.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Go under manage inventory and click the little tick box on one of your ASINs, and then the tab up there, the drop down tab, you can do set replenishment alert.
Got you. When you want me when? And what do you put for it? Is when weeks of cover reaches?
Yeah, I put a couple for the weeks alert, and I put a couple for the unit alert. So I don't kind of trying both out. But
yeah, I'm slow. What does it mean though? When weeks of cover reaches?
So Amazon's gonna look at your sales data, and it's gonna see you usually sell 10 a week, and it's gonna do the math. If you say 2 weeks coverage, it's gonna alert you when you're down to 20 units.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that way it could be pretty good if you know your lead time. So then you could say, "Hey, Amazon, alert me when there's only 3 weeks worth of inventory left," and then you can do your order on that day, and it'll get there roughly.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
I think Amazon Lit, Eric mentioned that in Miami.
Oh shit! Did you just catch me not paying attention?
Yeah, man, I saw you sleeping during his thing. I don't know how. The dude was jumping on a chair, screaming.
He's like almost a rapper, but an Amazon seller. I say I have replens, but they're really sale plans. Yeah,
that's where you got it one. Where you got it from, Seth? From her?
No, I don't know if you've heard of this guy, but Hustle Buddies on YouTube. I learned some from them several months ago. I think they talked about. I think it was them. I don't know. I learned some stuff from them. I don't know if it was that though.
That's a nice way to put it.
Sale plans.
Short and sweet.
I feel like that might be Warner's game. I feel like
It is.
Yeah, he loves his sales and Walgreens and all that stuff. It's probably a great model.
Same thing with Miles. I'm sure of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean they talk a lot, so they probably like.
Yeah, I think they share leads with each other. So.
Yeah. It's a good gig.
Yeah, it is. Two brains are better than one for sure.
Exactly. Grocery stores tend to rotate certain sales every 3 to 4 weeks, so it works well. I feel like Walgreens like has a super deep sale like every 1 or 2 months at least. Like I feel like
they last for a while.
Yeah.
I haven't really done much Walgreens.
Yeah, recently no, but yeah, I have in the past, and they're really good with sales. Like, I think that's why a lot of Amazon sellers go to that site because they always got a sale. For me, it's easier to find products on Walgreens than Walmart, but I don't know. Maybe that's just my sourcing strategy.
I feel like Walmart is like the Goodwill of the OA world. It's like the easiest to get to, lowest barrier to entry place where that's been picked and combed. But there's still a lot of good stuff on Walmart. Just like there's a lot of good stuff in Goodwill. It's just better to go to like an estate sale or get backroom access or something.
Yeah, very true. Because Walmart's huge. Huge.
Sure. Walgreens is just hard to go deep sometimes.
They have like a 12 quantity limit, and they do go out of stock on some good stuff that I've experienced, but they eventually restock, and they don't have a order limit in terms of you can't just reorder another 12. So
yeah,
it's like a lot of like shoe store websites where it's like not really easy to go deep, but you can find a workaround.
Yeah. Well, it was good hanging out, guys. Thanks for hanging out. This was a bunch of fun. We should definitely do this again.
Yeah, for sure. I love a good banter.
Yes,
Have
sir.
fun.
A good banter.
We had one good banter this stream.
I would say 3.
Yeah, 3.
Or maybe 4.
All right. Have a good night, guys. See ya.
All right. See y'all.